Hello and welcome to a new Vanguard Zero video. So we are currently on day 2 of this current season. Yesterday everyone did all their big pack openings and everything. And so now I think is a good time to kind of plan out what it is we're going to do for the rest of the season. So I'm going to bunch this into 2 videos because there's actually 2 major things I'm planning for. And this one's going to be talking about the more relevant and current issue. Yeah, it's a trading card game, it's not an issue. But we're going to be talking about the more topical and more relevant plans. And that is which deck I'm going to be building out of the current ones that were added in the new set. Or at least like the new cards. And I've chosen Shadow Paladins. Now for anyone who saw my opening yesterday, that shouldn't be too much of a surprise because I did kind of hint towards that. But yes, I'm building Shadow Paladins, and I've already made a decent amount of progress towards it. So I'll be walking you through what I've done, why I'm doing it, that kind of stuff, maybe even doing the challenge fight just to show off the decks more properly. And that's what we're going to be doing. So, and then in the next video, we're going to be talking about other plans that I'm currently doing that are very relevant to the channel and very relevant to this game, but it's more relevant to the personal way I've been playing the game. And for anyone who's a long-time watcher, you might be able to figure out what it is I'm talking about. But we'll talk about that tomorrow because I've got some fairly in-depth plans for that now that it is the next set. Hopefully everyone can figure out what I mean by that. If not, just wait until tomorrow, basically. So, Shadow Paladins. First of all, I already have 143,000 VP. Yes, because this is actually the thing I'm proud of. Immediately after that pack opening video, I was able to just free start every character fight with no trouble at all. Basically, it's super easy. You just gotta crit them to death. It's what I always say. If you're struggling with the character fights, just crit them to death. Basically, if you're building a deck, you want to free start every difficulty of the character fight associated with that deck, and then just use any stamina you get to grind these. Super easy, right? And maybe even spend some gems to do so, because that way you'll be able to craft the cards you need. It's very, very basic, but it works. And hopefully if you're someone who's trying to build any of the new decks, you have already done that. And if you haven't, just put together whatever cards you do currently have. It doesn't have to be very good cards, because honestly, even the very hard fight is pretty easy. Because as long as you put 9 crits in your deck, you'll eventually draw them, and if you eventually draw them, there's nothing they can do about it. So that's my advice. I managed to just do these and blitz through them super easy, and it doesn't hurt that Shadow Paladin's already a pretty good deck. So another thing you want to do if you're building Shadow Paladin is you want to do the story mode. I'm currently at grade 31, and during one of the missions at grade 30, or the story missions, they just give you a Shadow Paladin card, Blast the Dark, and you just get it. So you're going to want to have that because, well, yeah, Blast the Dark is a pretty essential card. So if you're planning on crafting most of the cards you need, do not craft a 4th copy of Blast the Dark because you just get given one. If you don't have one, then just do it. It's, again, pretty easy. I saw a lot of people saying that the Kyo fight was really, really, really hard. I beat him on my first try because I Majesty Lord blasted him. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like the story missions were made, in terms of difficulty, they were kind of balanced for the cards that were currently out when they released those story missions. So back then, the big Royal Paladin deck was like Alfred, Galahad, and all those other decks didn't really exist yet. And so I just put Majesty Lord Blaster in my deck and absolutely destroyed him and critted him to death too on top of that. So I just went 9 crits, Majesty Lord Blaster, playset of both Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark, and just destroyed him. And I kind of wish I would have recorded that, but the reason I didn't is because I wasn't expecting to beat him. And I didn't want to just upload a video of me losing, so maybe I'll redo that and try to recreate it at a later date. But yeah, basically, if you have Majesty Lord Blaster and you still haven't done the Kyo's Revenge mission in the story mode, go ahead and just Majesty Lord Blaster him, because it works. Because again, the requirement to free start that mission is if you use Royal Paladin And, well, yeah, Magic Blaster is a Royal Paladin, so just do that, basically. And that's only if you want to 3-star it. You could technically use any deck, I think, if you want to. That's just the requirement to 3-star it, but there's no particular reason to 3-star other than the extra items you get. But if you're just trying to grade up so that you can finish that mission and get the copy of Blast the Dark you need, then go ahead. So there's that, right? But yeah, no. So there's that. Okay, let's look at the Shadow Paladin cards we currently have very quickly. And after that, we'll do the challenge fight, because I've been saving the challenge fights. And then after that, we'll be kind of leaving that there. So, Shadow Paladin. So, these are the Shadow Paladins. I do not have very many of them is the problem. Because I'm missing basically all the triple rares. Basically. I do have the grade 2 triple rare, a single copy of it. And it is a pretty good card. I'm glad I have it. But, yeah, I am missing... Okay, so not a playset. 3 copies. Excuse me. So I do need to craft another one of those. I'm mainly going to be holding off of opening packs for basically what I'm going to be talking about in tomorrow's video. But I've got 2 perfect guards. I do currently have 2 sentinel medals. I'm considering spending those because I'm going to be getting more anyway soon, is the thing. I think I currently have 3 sentinel medals, and during this season and next season, I'm going to be getting more anyway, so I think I might spend those. Blast Javelin, I might just go ahead and craft the 4th copy of him right now, because I can, and he's a good card to have. I'm going to be mainly relying on crafting most of the rest of these cards, and you may be thinking, good luck crafting all the triple rares you need, and that's the thing, this is going to be a very casual sort of Shadow Paladin deck. I still think that I can probably craft a pretty good deck just out of the cards I currently have, and then by just spending any stamina I get from this point on the Ren character fights, because literally I've just been logging in every like hour or 2 and then just doing the character fights. And also another piece of advice, so they added new story missions and stuff and everything, right? Basically strategically what you want to do, and this is something I've heard a few people talk about, but it's actually really useful, and it's one of the reasons I'm able to get so many crafting materials and everything recently, is I've been doing a bunch of story missions and stuff, but what you want to do is you want to spend most of your stamina on the character fights, then do a story mission with the like 5 or so stamina you have left over, and then when you complete it, you grade up, and every time you grade up, they automatically refill your stamina gauge. So if you do a bunch of character fights to spend your stamina, then do a story fight to grade up, and then do more character fights, it's basically doubling the amount of character fights you could be doing, and thus doubling the amount of materials you get. Very, very useful stuff. In my opinion, it's very, very useful. Basically, again, I've said this before, I'll say it again, it's all about gaming the system. It wants me to win against Kenji 5 times, and it wants me to obtain VP. I'm very close to obtaining that VP, and then so basically I do these 2 bottom ones here, and then I'll do the character fights and stuff, and then I'll do the story missions with the like, I think it's 5 stamina to do each story mission, so it's like none at all basically. It's not even enough to do character fights anyway, and then I just do the story missions, and then boom. And again, because the older story missions were balanced around the very first set of cards, they're super easy nowadays, even the more difficult and broken ones. Like, yes, they will draw their triggers every single time, and it is a pain in the ass. But if you're running an actually good, modern, current meta deck, and you're swapping out the triggers for crits, you'll do fine, right? Because you'll eventually get those crits, you'll have those 4 perfect guards, and you'll have your ride chains and everything set up. So again, they're pretty easy. Now, I can't say too much about the new story missions because I haven't done all too many of them, because they've added new story missions that allow you to grade up from grade 30 to 50, I believe. So there are more story missions, and I don't know how difficult there are. I might do a video in future taking a closer look at the new story missions that they've just added. So we'll see that. Depends how interested you are and everything, of course. And the only other thing I will mention about Shadow Paladins before we go into that challenge fight is something that made me laugh out loud when I saw it for the first time. I think it's in one of the story missions I found it. They've added a new skin for Aichi called Psyqualia Aichi that allows you to play Shadow Paladins as Aichi, right? But they made him look all like angsty and angry, and it's the funniest thing ever. I know it's something that happens in the anime, but it's the fact that in this gacha game you can play as like angsty Aichi that's like laughing at the fact that he's beating you and everything, like menacingly. It's really funny. I'm kinda considering getting it. Kinda. I'm very close to being able to afford it, but we'll see. Again, I kind of want to save those just in case. But if you're someone who's playing Shadow Paladin, and Shadow Paladin is like one of your favorite clans, and you really want to be running that deck, then I would definitely consider picking this up, because I think that's a worthy purchase if you can afford it. Yeah, like title, Arise and Destroy My Avatar. Just the image of Aichi saying that is the funniest. Yeah, I really like that. So let's get into the challenge fight. As I mentioned, the challenge fights are very, very useful. You want to do them as soon as they're released, because not only do they give you free gems, but they give you a good look at what the deck is out without you having to actually build it. It's their chance of letting you use a completed Shadow Paladin deck before you've had to go and, you know, spend the materials to actually build that deck yourself. And so that way you get a good feel for the deck and know how, and can kind of understand how it works firsthand yourself by using it before you make the decision of whether or not you want to use it. So we're going to be sending out Javelin because he's the very obvious one to send out. He'll allow me to put Blasted Dark in my hand, and that's very, very useful. And I'm going to save that other Lance Javelin even for later. So we've got Nemain, which lets me draw 2 cards, which is very good. She doesn't have much power, but she does have the intercept and she lets me draw, so that's very good. This is a cross ride. So that is when you place, because this new set has added some more jargon, I guess, to the game. So we're gonna send him out because I mean, come on. I love the artwork for Blasted Dark they use. I'm not usually the biggest fan in the world of Blasted Dark, like in the anime and stuff. I just love the artwork they used for the card here specifically. Like, that artist is really good. I like him. So I think we're just gonna send her out. And then we can discard a card. Who do I want to get? I have, yeah, I have 2 copies of him and he only works in the Vanguard, so I'm going to get rid of him. I know that may sound a bit iffy to get rid of him, but I do only really want him on my Vanguard. And then what I'm going to do is, yeah, I'm going to send out these, and then discard a grade 3 from your hand to add a Phantom Blaster Dragon. Sure. I'm just gonna assume that it knows what it's doing. Okay, so I went full circle there basically. No, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this, and I could put down that grade 2 as an extra intercept, but I'm not going to because I don't think I'll be able to get an attack in with him. I'm just gonna get an attack in with these 2 and just kind of hope it works. Again, I'm still a little inexperienced with Shadow Paladin, but I think I've at least done enough research within the last day or so to at least understand a lot of the basics. But I guess we'll see. I definitely know enough to know that I do want to run them. Now again, how much am I willing to spend on them? Not too much, and we'll get into that in the next video. But out of the ones that currently exist, they're the ones that I'm gravitating towards more. At least personally. Again, it's a, you know, it's a choice thing, right? It's whichever one you want to go for is the one that you should be going for, right? So, yeah, unfortunately, because I sent out Blasted Dark earlier, I wasn't able to take full advantage of his skill to retire. But that's fine. I don't think that's the biggest problem in the world. So we're going against Nova Grappler here too, which is really interesting. So, okay, game time. So now we're wanting to send Phantom Blaster Dragon onto our Vanguard because he's very, very good. Like so. And then when you ride Phantom Blast Dragon, when rode upon by alright, we'll just send him that then. And then that's the cross ride for Phantom Blaster Dragon, so we're gonna want to keep him. So yeah, new jargon. Cross ride is when you ride a grade 3 on top of another grade 3. So basically, you can put him on top of Phantom Blaster Dragon, to get extra effects. And Persona Blast is when you discard the same card from your hand. So to use his ability, you'd also have to discard a copy of him from your hand. So I kind of wanted to keep a hold of that second copy, but that's not the biggest deal in the world. It's not as Blast in the Dark. It gets Counterblast 2 to retire 3 rare guard. Yes. You know what? Yeah, we'll just get rid of the intercepts. Just because I want to. I know I probably shouldn't have, but that's what I want to do. Because usually if you have an effect that lets you retire rare guard, you kind of want to aim for the back ones because you can't usually get rid of the back ones just with normal attacks. So, oof. I don't think I'm doing all too great here, actually. No, I'm doing alright. Because then I can... I was worried I'd have to waste my Vanguard on getting rid of his intercept, but that's fine. No, I have more than enough. I like the little animation with like little black swords that come out of the card. That's very cute. And I know that it tears Ren up inside to call anything to do with him cute, but I'm going to keep doing it anyway. And they're just going to give me crits. Nice. Just crit him to death. If he perfect cards this, then that would be devastating, but nah, he's not going to be able to. So that's Shadow Paladins, and we managed to beat him too efficiently because we weren't able to actually use our Cross Ride or Persona Blast. But that gives you a bit of a taste, a bit of a hint as to what Shadow Paladins are like, and how they play anyway. And the great part is you get to do that yourself. In fact, you are actively encouraged to do that. So if someone is interested in Shadow Paladin, I would recommend doing that. And in fact, again, there's nothing stopping you from doing it multiple times. If you're someone who wants to intentionally stall out that fight so that you can try using the Persona Blast and everything, then you can go ahead and do that if you want. So yeah, that's a little bit of a look at Shadow Paladin and a little bit of a look at why I'm interested in building them. Again, I'm not going to go all in, but I'm certainly at least going to spend any stamina I get from this point on trying to craft the cards I need. And you will just see where we go, right? Maybe if we can get pretty close to having a fully built one, I might be tempted to open a few more packs and spend some gems and so on and so forth. But we'll see. For now, I'm taking it a little bit slow. Yeah, I know I'm not going all in on Manchester Blaster. Yeah, I know I'm not going all in on Dragonic Overlord at the end. But, I mean, every Vanguard Zero YouTuber currently is going all in on one of those two decks. So me doing the same would just be, well, more of the same. And so, there's that. But yeah, I'll see you later with some more Vanguard Zero. And let me know which deck you're currently building and how close you are to being able to build them. And why it is you're building them. That's a good point too, right? Because those free decks, especially, are very, very powerful. And so it's interesting to see what everyone's thought process as to which of the three they're like leaning towards. Or even if you're just going for the new Nova and Oracle Think Tank stuff, because those are pretty underrepresented, even though they were just added to. So there's that as well. So yeah, I'll see you later with more Cardfight Vanguard Zero. Be sure to subscribe to see more, and I'll see you later.